Okay, it's Friday, February 18th. Just thought I'd make a relatively quick video on the SQQQs, this ultra short index, and just show you some of the opportunities that have taken place in the last couple of weeks. This is a daily chart right here. You can see, when the market really went down big last month, it went up, then it's been consolidating. It's starting back up again towards those highs. On the weekly chart, this is kind of a key reference where you start. You can see here, after we had this red week and then a 2 down week, you're not really looking to buy this index at that point. But you can see here on this week, when it failed to reach its target, you might be nibbling to see if we, at some point in the last 2 weeks, to see if we're going to, start back up either by the midpoint of that week, breaking a new high with a 2 up. And you can see we eventually did get a 2 up, and then we're heading higher now. So there's been good opportunities here in the last couple of weeks. Once you saw this 2 down bar, wasn't following through to the downside. So I'll kind of go day by day and then to the 15-minute chart just to show you what I think some of the opportunities were. And there were a couple of, it's choppy days. There were a couple of break-even type of days that I saw, a couple of really good days, maybe 1 or 2 small loss days, but nothing terrible. And now we are bearish again, and this is heading higher. So we'll see, we close the week today. Let's see if we close green. This is kind of a one of those hammer bars that it looks like if we close up here, then next week we should start up. But this is a tricky area if we're going to really take it out or not. But for now, that's where we're heading, so you keep that in mind. So on the daily chart, if you look at this was the 2 down week I was showing, on this weekly chart. So you're really not doing anything here because the market's reversed to the downside on this week. So then the question is, these last 2 weeks, are you going to nibble to see if this week can be reversed back to the upside? I could see here on this first day of the week, on the 7th, I believe, you had a green start to the week. That might have been a buy attempt, even though at that point you're not really into a 2 up week. You can kind of nibble and see if you break those highs. Then clearly on the next day, it looks like we might have started up and then failed and come down. So I'll show you what that day looked like. You're not doing anything on this day because this 2 down week might be continuing lower, but then you did get a reversal on this day, which is interesting. You're still not really turning this week up yet, but it looks like a possibility. So you can then this is a trade here above the midpoint of the prior day heading up. So I'll show you this was a really good day to trade. This day on Monday of this week failed to follow through, but it would have been a good day to try something. I'll show you that. These 2 days just went lower, midpoint of so these aren't anything to try. And then these last 2 days are very good trades. So that's kind of what's developing on the daily chart if you're going to look day by day. And if we go to the 15-minute chart, I'll just go to a few days. This is starting on the 7th here, where maybe you would have been nibbling to see if you can turn this week up. If I go to the 7th on the 15-minute chart, it's a little tricky because you're below the midpoint of the prior day. I normally don't take those trades, but the first couple of bars, this went down, and then they just consolidated for a while. So there was sort of, at least intraday, a buy here towards midday to break when you were breaking the intraday highs, and it did go up for a few bars just to the midpoint of the prior day. So it was the type of thing, that's all you could expect on this day, given, you have this big down day before it. So you're not really looking to take out those highs, but the opening price action did give you a little scalp. But, normally I would avoid that type of day. So normally I'm avoiding on the daily chart, where are we? Yeah, this first day here, because we're breaking, we opened down lower below the midpoint of the prior day and it closed green. So let's say on this next day, once you see that kind of moving up, you want to buy in here on the this second day. Maybe that's going to turn this week up in general. So let me go to the 8th, a little clearer, and show you what I see developed there. And you can see it obviously failed. Now, what I could see here is the first bar opened kind of red, and then we held inside on the second bar. So I would have been buying this, the inside of the third bar here, the inside bar here on bar 2, buy the breakout on bar 3. You're trying to break that intraday high. It never gets up there on 3. Then it comes down. So you're watching it. Then it starts up again, and it still can't get above that high. Then this next bar goes up, and it still can't get above the high. And so already you have 45 minutes here where you're just not breaking the high from this second bar. So at that point, to me, you're just breaking even on this trade and you're avoiding all this. The midpoint of this first bar is your clear stop. But to me, I would have been just knowing I'm looking to break that first bar's high and never took it out in 45 minutes. This thing immediately should have went up and started a nice day. I'll show you that on some of the good trades. So anyway, to me, that's a break-even type of trade. You tried to nibble here on the second day of the week to head higher, to kind of turn this whole week up. It isn't doing it. So you're still in the mode where this is a 2 down week and this is probably going to head lower. This is a big gap down day. You're not looking to buy at all. Then you have this reversal day here on what day is that? That is the 10th. And that sets up this next day. But let's say on the 10th, what happened? I don't think there would have been a trade there, but I could be wrong. Let me see. On the 10th, yeah, on the 10th, it did end up a reversal day to the upside, but it opened up, gapped up, and then it came right down from the start. So there's nothing to do on this day. But because it then rallied here and closed up strong, you see that kind of a hammer bar. You are now saying, hey, we're not taking out the lows of the prior week. We're still back above, the open of this week. So this could be the interesting day right here on the 11th. So if I go to the 11th right now, yeah, you can see here, this is just a great trading day. You had the reversal day the day before. 15-minute bar just opens, kind of holds, breaks above the first bar high. You get in, it just barely pauses, and then it goes up all day. So there's your great trade on this day. Now, you're coming into this week, and you've turned this week up green, and you've made a new high. So now you're looking for follow through on this week every day. So at this point, you can see here on Monday. I'll show you in a second what that was. It looked like a failure type of trade. Nothing to do here on these 2 days, but you're still, biased to the upside. And yesterday and today are 2 very good looking days. So what you have here, the first day of the week, this failure. Let me just make sure I got it right. That's the 14th. Yeah, that's this day. Let's see how the market opens. You see, it's tricky. There was really nothing to do. It actually saved you. The first 15-minute bar just came lower. You didn't really get above the intraday high at that point. You just continued lower on the day. So on this first Monday, there was just nothing to do. Even though it looked like it started to break up, it really just immediately went down from the start. So that's how the opening price action saved you here. We kind of tried to go up, but by the end of the day, and then it came down. Then you gapped down the next day, which are these 2 red bars. So you're doing nothing there the next 2 days, but you're still in an up mode. There's just nothing to do on this day. You're below the midpoint of the prior day. 15-minute chart opens and goes lower. Next day after that, let's call that, you can, oh God. I mean, this is, would you have bought that here? Let me see. Yeah, you would have bought. So this next day, which is this kind of red day here, it did open above the midpoint of the prior day and start up. So I could see buying that here. 15-minute start strong, you buy that right there. Then you go up for a bar, you kind of fail, but you come down and you just kind of hold the midpoint of this bar. And you can see here, it's not breaking down, but it's not really reversing to the upside. You tried one reversal here, it couldn't do anything. So to me, this is you get in here, somewhere it's either a very small loss or a break even once you just didn't see the follow through going on. I mean, this is kind of the opening action. It's not going to get you killed, but it's not real. This again should have went obviously straight up, or it should have just pulled back 1 or 2 bars and then started up. It's just doing a whole bunch of chopping here. So this wasn't the day where it was going up. Anyway, on the final 2 days of the week, yesterday and today, you can see how nice it ended up, and you're biased long. And yesterday was a great day to buy. Opening, you're above the midpoint of the prior day, first bar up, by the breakout. It just started up, one pullback, and then went up all day long. And then today, you're still in the buy mode and you're looking at the opening price action. Again, very nice, big green bar to start. You just pause in here for 2 bars. You buy the breakout right up somewhere in here to break the intraday highs. So, you buy here, it broke the intraday highs, and now we're heading higher. So it's a no-risk trade either way, or it's some gains if you want to take them. And the daily chart, we're heading up, taking out that target. And now, we do have these targets back here on the weekly chart that it might be heading towards next week. So anyway, that's to me is an analysis of this index, how you would have looked, to play it day to day. The context, once you had the 2 down week, you're being, you just want to see that week turn up. Now that the weekly chart's turning up, you have what looks like might be a hammer bar by the end of the day. It should follow through sometime into next week higher. And that's it. You just kind of follow this weekly chart to see where it's headed. And you kind of look at the daily price action day to day to see if you're getting highs or lows or above the midpoint of the prior day. And then you go to the 15-minute chart opening every day to see, what the opportunities are. So we'll see what happens. But right now, things are bearish, price stocks are still going lower, and we'll just see if we follow through in the weeks ahead to take out those highs. It's tricky, it's kind of testing that area, but if we fail and then start down, then you're out of this index again, because the market will probably start rallying. But for now, price action is bearish, and we'll see where it goes into next week.